What's up, everyone? I know it's been a long time since I last posted something, but considering the fact that we just received news of a new Pokemon Presents coming on August 8th, this is the best opportunity to kind of talk about my predictions and speculate and possibly get disappointed once it finally comes out. So the big thing with this is that when Pokemon Twitter account posted this, they showed it off with a little teaser trailer with a flickering M followed by the typical Pokemon Presents logo and the date in which it was going to be shown. The thing that's driving everyone crazy is that flickering M from the word Pokemon, and that it's a very neon-y, purpley pink color. So what could that possibly mean? Well, everyone's thinking it's got to be related to either Mew or Mewtwo. But what could they be revealing in regards to Mew or Mewtwo in this Pokemon Presents? That's up for debate, and that's what we're going to be talking about right now. So my first thought is that, an easy thing that they can reveal here is that Mewtwo is going to be getting a Paradox form in one of the new, Scarlet and Violet DLCs. I think it would be pretty cool to have like a future Paradox form for Mewtwo, just since, according to the Pokemon lore, if they were able to create Mewtwo from Mew's genetics in a laboratory, what's to say that millions of years in the future, the humans wouldn't be able to create a more futuristic, high-tech version of Mewtwo? And that, I think, would be really cool. In terms of a Paradox past form, I'm not sure if it would make any logical sense in terms of canon for Mewtwo to exist in the past, but I guess that's what a Paradox is. If they're called Paradox forms, then that just throws logic out the window. So if Mewtwo were to get a past and future Paradox form, that would kind of mirror how he got a Mega Evolution in both X and Y on the Nintendo DS. So again, that could be pretty cool if they went about and did something like that. But that's just one thought here. Obviously, Pokemon Presents typically cover a lot of ground. They don't just talk about the mainline games. They talk about events going on around the world. They talk about the mobile games. They talk about literally anything related to Pokemon. So I'm actually going to look through the Pokemon Presents that aired just around a year ago, August 3rd, 2022. And I'm going to look through that video just to kind of get an idea of, what they talked about there to kind of help better make my predictions for what they're going to do this year. So for the old video, they covered, the World Championships for 2022. I believe 2023 World Championships are about to be going on as well, if not currently going on as I record. But they're around August time, so they're definitely going to make some mention of that. Next up is Pokemon Go Fest. So this year, Pokemon Go Fest is happening in New York City, and I believe it's happening also in Japan. I'm not quite sure when each one is taking place, but I know for sure New York City one is taking place around middle of August, so like August 17th or 18th or something like that. So they talked about Pokemon Go Fest in last year's video, so that's definitely going to get a mention here. Pokemon Unite. There's always some new update, new Pokemon coming out in Pokemon Unite that's playable. Maybe it's Mewtwo. Mewtwo is not a character yet that's playable in Pokemon Unite, so I feel like putting him in here would, back up that whole claim. So Mewtwo coming out in Pokemon Unite as a playable character. Pokemon Masters EX. I believe Mewtwo's already in there via Giovanni. Although I can see them, creating another sync pair within that game and having Mewtwo be available in a different way, not just through Giovanni. Pokemon Cafe Remix. Now, here's actually something that's really interesting. As I'm scrolling through this old video, Mewtwo was actually revealed in last year's Pokemon Presents. So obviously he wouldn't show up here unless maybe there's like a new skin for Mewtwo. I don't know, did they do that in Pokemon Cafe Remix? I have no idea. Maybe there's like a new mode revolving around Mewtwo. So that's funny that they kind of introduced him last year. So I don't foresee him being a big focus around Pokemon Cafe Remix. But we all know that this game is going to be mentioned in some way, shape, or form. And it looks like for the rest of the video from last year's presentation was covering Scarlet and Violet. And that makes sense since the games were just a few months from release at that point. So I think they will obviously focus largely on the DLC for Scarlet and Violet. They will most likely give a release date for at least Wave 1. My guess is it's going to come out somewhere around October, or maybe even late end of September possibly. And I feel like Wave 2, we might not get a release date on this presentation, but I feel like it's going to come out maybe in December or possibly even January. Now, jumping away from the things that are for sure going to be happening, I want to talk about some of the things that I'm really hoping are going to be revealed on this Pokemon Presents. So, if we're going to stick to Mewtwo, let's kind of generalize a little bit more. Gen 1, let's bring the original games from the Game Boy Color onto the NSO platform, because at this point they're stuck on the 3DS Virtual Console, which no longer exists really. So we got to get them on the Switch. And on top of that, we're still waiting on Pokemon Stadium 2 to come out on NSO as well. And I'm still holding out hope that they're going to bring in some kind of connectivity between the NSO and 64 Pokemon Stadium games and possibly the NSO, Game Boy games. That's my hope. I really, really, really want that. I've played those games quite a bit back in the day when I was younger, but it's just so comforting and nostalgic. I just need them on. I want to be able to just log onto my Switch and play Pokemon Yellow at whatever point I want to play it, and import those Pokemon into Pokemon Stadium 1 or 2. And speaking of bringing games on tennis, so just bring Gold, Silver, and Crystal as well, because you might as well. And it's gonna make playing through the Pokemon Stadium games a lot easier if I'm able to pull in my own Pokemon versus the rental ones, which we all know are not that great. So that's what I'm really hoping for going forward. We'll see what happens. That's really all I'm hoping for. I'm going to try to record my reaction to the video, and just to preface this, 9 out of 10 times when I watch the Pokemon Presents, I'm usually disappointed because it's pretty lackluster, and I'm trying not to overhype myself. Even with the NSO games that I'm hoping for, I'm 99% sure they're not going to show anything off about that. It's just I've kind of given up hope, but at the same time there's that little bit inside me that I just can't really kill off inside. So we'll see what happens. Until then, I appreciate everyone sticking around who had subscribed to my channel. I'm trying to get back into drawing more Pokemon and posting videos of them on the channel here. I'm going to be creating a bit of a series where I'm going to dedicate a single video to a single drawing, so basically to a single Pokemon, and just kind of talk a little bit about them and dive a little bit into their history, into their design, how I feel about their design and how it was like for me to draw them, if it was easy, if it was difficult, things like that. So I hope you guys look forward to that kind of content. Once I am able to create all those videos, should be able to be on the channel pretty frequently, so there should always be a very steady flow of videos coming from me in that sense. So again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.